Hey friends, how about drawing a barn? We are doing a whole animal themed week this week, so why not do a barn drawing, a little red barn. So all you need are drawing supplies and something to color with, right? Gather it up. Come join me. I do have my paper horizontal, and because the barn is gonna be a little longer than it is tall, and I will be drawing with a Sharpie so you can see what I'm doing, but of course you use a pencil so that way you can erase. We are going to start with the main part of the barn. So we're going to draw a vertical and a vertical and then a horizontal across. And then we'll connect the top with a frowny face curve. Okay, so super simple. This is old school, simple drawing. We do need to connect the bottom of the barn as well with a straight line if you can. We'll just pretend that's some dirt down there, and that's why it's a little wavy. All right, then right here connected to the barn, we're going to make a vertical and another vertical. Here we go. And then we'll connect the top and have a curve going across here. And of course, per usual, my art goes right off the page. Okay, now we've got to have some big barn doors so we can get the animals and the tractors and the hay and whatever else may be across. So we're going to do vertical, horizontal, vertical. So it looks like almost a square, but it's really a rectangle. And then diagonal, 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 just like that. Across the top, we're going to do a long, skinny rectangle, just like so, and a vertical, and a vertical. And then we'll draw, let's just do 2 horizontals and continue them across here. So this is like a big window at the top, and then these are like shutters that could close on it. And then here we'll just have an X because the barn door is closed. Now, on this guy, we could potentially have a window at the top. Kind of like that. And go ahead and bring across the same concept as this window. It's just smaller, right? Then we would have some ground, and we might even have like some hills in the background. Okay, and then we might have a big old sun up here. Okay, so realistically, you can always do whatever you want to in the background. This is your artwork. There's no wrong answer. You can add all your own special details. You can take away things. If you had a really large sheet of paper, you could have your barn, and then you could have some animals with the barn or a tractor. That could even be fun. So definitely have fun with this process and add whatever you want. Now I am going to do some marker and crayon. I love mixing art supplies when possible. I just think that it adds a whole nother dimension to your artwork that's really fun. So we're gonna have our barn, and then this is like the wood panels on the barn. So we'll just stick them on there like that. We might have a little bit of texture in here. Like this. There we go. Some more texture. Maybe a curve over here. A little bit more texture. There. Nice. Okay. Then this would also match the barn. So I'll go ahead and trace it with red. And we want it to stand out just a little bit different from the barn, so I'm not going to put any texture on it, okay? Then what I would do is inside of here, I would use a crayon to color with. Now my grandma always did this when we were little. We would have coloring contests. And this was one trick I learned from her. I always thought it would look so cool in our coloring books, how she would trace it, all the black lines in the coloring book with the marker and then go back and color with crayon. So this one's actually a brick red, so it's a little darker than the regular red that's in there. You can push as hard as you want or keep it a little softer. By coloring soft with crayon, that gives it its own texture as well. There we go. Get that in there. Perfect. All right. And notice that I go from top to bottom. So I always try to go from one section or like one line to another when I'm coloring, because then what that does is it makes it look a little smoother. Same thing when I'm painting. I go from one side to another when I'm painting, and I try to keep the lines going the same direction when I can. Now sometimes when you're real close to another line, you can go with it to fill in any white spots, but I really try to keep all my lines going the same direction. Okay, now obviously we're going to want some brown because it's a barn. So we'll use the brown marker. We'll trace with brown on here. And if you wanted to, you could even add a little extra, give it a little extra on there if you wanted to. There we go. Oh, I think I'll go across the bottom too. All right. And then if you wanted to as well, oop, getting low. I never peel my whole wrapper off of a crayon. I just peel off a little bit at a time. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Just peel off a little bit at a time. And that way I still have a wrapper to hold on to. So the top of this could be lighter, and then as I go down, I could push a little harder, little harder, little harder. That's one nice thing about crayons is you can create some value within your artwork by the amount of pressure that you use to color. So as I go down the roof of the barn, I can push a little harder and a little harder and a little harder, and I show some value. So the top part was the lightest because that's where the most light would hit the barn, and then as we go down it gets a little darker. So that's another kind of cool feature that you can do with crayons, is all in how you hold it, the amount of pressure that you put down on your crayon when you're coloring. There we go. There. Same thing. Okay, and then on the barn, typically these lines are white on a barn and white, and then we might have brown around them. So again, bust out the marker, outline, outline, just like that. Now for you guys, I would definitely erase the middle of this X right here, or just keep one direction going. Like I could erase those two lines and be good, or erase that line and be good. But I think I don't know, I would just erase it so it doesn't make a diamond right there in the middle. I of course can't because I did Sharpie. Here we go. Same thing, if I wanted these to look like pieces of wood, I could add some kind of rough looking lines, so they're kind of like texture lines in here. There we go. Tight squeeze in here in all these spots. There we go. Oh, while I have the brown out, this is all kind of rough dirt down here, right? Okay. Then we'll color it in. Color it in. I just love the effect that it gives, tracing with color marker and coloring in with crayon, or even coloring in with colored pencil if you want to. So when you have more than one art supply going on, that's called a multimedia piece. Oh yeah, down here too, right? Color in that dirt. Okay. Then I may do kind of a, I don't know, maybe a yellowy color in here, like hay, I guess. Okay. Or like there's a light on in the barn. And then trace my sun. There we go. There, kind of same thing, harder on the outside, softer as I get in towards the center. Then for my ground, we might have some pretty green grass out here, right? And we might even do some little zigzaggies in here. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Kind of just add some fun texture to the grass. There we go. So basically some crazy squiggle lines. Then I could use, I don't have a regular green for some reason, but I could use my yellow green or like a lime green and color that in, and then I can still see all that fun grass texture that I made, right? Hold on to that other edge so your paper doesn't go crazy on you. There we go. And then last but not least, we just have the sky to take care of, right? So we can get in there and color that sky. You could get after that sky and make it a different blues or a sunset or a night sky. So there's so many options with skies, and I always remind my students that because their go-to is typically just a light blue is usually their go-to for the sky. And honestly, that's the marker I run out of first in class. The marker, the crayon, the color pencil, everything is the light blue runs out first. It's everybody's favorite. But so tell them, you know, you've got options. It can be night, it can be sunset, it can be sunrise. So you can add a lot of fun things to your skies. I might even add, I call them little birds in the sky. There we go. Awesome. There is my little red barn. Keeping it nice and simple for you guys. That way we can do this project with all ages, not just the big kids. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll use your imagination. You could even make some little paper animals. This could be the background scenery, and you can have your little paper animals coming in. Think of the stories the kids will come up with that you could write or act out. This could even be a really fun backdrop for a little stop motion animation with your paper cutout animals you could make. So have fun with the endless possibilities. Do all that awesome social media stuff while you're on here. Like, share, subscribe, and of course, I cannot wait to do some more art with you guys. Have a great day.